What we know today, of course, from a very large scientific literature, evidence is very, very strong and very clear that air pollution causes a lot of diseases and premature mortality. So that is known, and the solution to the problem is also known. We need clean air. We need clean air policies. And in fact, what is fantastic to see over the last 30 years, we not only know that we should do that, we have many examples showing that it is possible. So many governments around the world, in the Western countries in particular, have shown that if you implement the right regulations, air pollution can be reduced drastically. So the current situation tells us we have a global problem and we have inequity in the way of the development. We see all the Western countries have seen tremendous improvement with air quality, whereas all the low-income and low and middle-income countries have seen the opposite. They are not only very heavily polluted, but they see even the wrong trends. They go in the wrong direction. It's getting worse. So what is the solution there? The solution is that we should not only globalize the economy, the goods, the transport of goods, we should also globalize the standards of how we regulate air pollution. We need globalized standards on emissions, and we need particularly globalized ambient air quality standards. Because we see today what happens. Today we have a huge inequity in terms of standards. Many countries have even no standards at all. Other countries have very, very poor standards. And what you see, what is happening, the globalized industries, of course, they go to those places where it is allowed to pollute, and that's where they produce with very lax technologies. So the production follows the regulation. And that's exactly the reason, or one of the reasons, why you see this continuous deterioration of air pollution in Asia, for example, versus the continuous improvement in Switzerland, in Europe, in Western wealthy countries, because we have very strong legal frameworks that make very clear what you can do and what you cannot do. There is an interesting example on how this is manipulated, the regulation. The content of sulfur in the diesel is a very, very important cause of the quality of the air that comes out of the exhaust. And that's why the Western countries have regulated the sulfur content in diesel. In diesel in Switzerland, on the gas station, has not more than 5 ppm sulfur. So because of a lack of regulation, the traders, and these are Swiss companies, they produce diesel in different qualities. Africa has very, very poor regulations. So what they do, they blend different qualities of diesel, and the worst quality, with sulfur content being up to 600 times higher than what we allow in Switzerland, this dirty diesel is shipped to Africa and sold on the gas stations in Africa. And the consequences are clear. These vehicles there produce a lot of very, very dirty, soot-rich pollution. And of course you see it in the numbers, concentrations in these cities, in the mega cities in Africa, very high levels of pollution, very dirty, stinky air. And that's the consequence of a lack of regulation in those countries. So what these Swiss companies do is completely legal, but it tells us what the global community should do. We need globalized standards, targets of what we should reach through clean air policies.